Good evening, friends. I hope you and your family are doing fine during these very tough times of Corona second wave. These are extremely tough times, and it's very important to keep ourselves and our family safe and yet keep our spirits high. So I hope you all are doing well in terms of health, and please take extreme care of yourself and your loved ones. All right. So, mm, uh, coming back to today's topic, I am recording a video after a long time. This one is on a technical topic of recent changes related to NRI taxation. Now, when I say recent, it is not completely recent. The changes were announced budget 2020, and now the law is passed. But the changes were such that lot of clarifications were required, and there still is confusion of regarding what is the intention of such change, who are the people who are actually impacted. So certain doubts are cleared via clarification and certain doubts still remain. So this is post the amendment, there can be some litigative issues. So I've thrown light upon what are the changes, interpretation, the latest circular on that, and what are still the open issues. So as you can see in my screen of first page, the second part of property inheritance management is not what we are going to discuss today. This one, the first one, which is about NRI taxation background and implication of revision in those laws, recent revision. So before we move on to revision, just for someone who doesn't know how NRI is taxed, or the background of taxation, be it resident or non-resident. The entire residency law is governed by Section 6. So when we call someone as a tax resident of India, so first condition, if he stays 182 days or above in previous year, or he stays more than 365 days in the last 4 years and more than 60 in the last year. So if either of the one condition is satisfied, then a person is called as a resident of India, tax resident. Now, why residency is important is covered by what you can see in second page, is that implication of Section 6 means why Section 6 is important, why residency is important. So what kind of income is taxable when you are resident, and what kind of income is taxable when you are non-resident, and there is something in between which is resident but not ordinarily resident, and resident and as well as ordinarily resident. So as the table clarifies, in nutshell you can interpret it as that if you are resident, your global income is taxable, whether you earn it in India or outside. Because if you are resident, by crossing the threshold limit of number of days, uh, even if you earn some income out of that outside India, it is still taxable in India. If it is also taxed in other country, of course you can get relief and all those things, but currently we are talking about taxation in relation to India. So income received or deemed to be received in India in all cases will be taxable, even for non-resident. But the key thing is income which accrues or arises outside India, that is taxable only if you are resident. But if business is controlled out of India, then it is also taxable in case of resident but not ordinarily resident, and income which accrues or arises outside India from business controlled in India or profession set up outside India, then it is taxable only if you are resident. So basically, residency is important to know what kind of incomes is taxable. Now, What is R but NOR? We will come to know uh, as we go ahead. Now, the first change, while explaining the change, I will also explain what is RNOR. Now, first change which was brought about was that reducing the number of days to 120 instead of 182. Meaning, even if you stay more than 120 days, you are resident in India. So that means trying to bring more people in the bracket of tax resident than earlier. So till end of 1920, what was uh, the threshold limit, which was 182 days, was cut down to 120 days. So this means the first condition here, the A part. In India in that year for a period or period amounting in all to 182 days was reduced to 120 days. However, the important thing to note here is that not all persons who cross 120 days will become tax resident, and the table of resident will apply and your global income will be taxable. No, only if your income, Indian sourced income, is above 15 lakh will this change apply. Means what? Means if your Indian sourced income is not above 15 lakhs, the earlier rule of 182 days still remain. The other important thing to note here is that the RNOR condition still remains as it is. Now, as I said, while explaining the change, I will also explain what is RNOR. So RNOR means you qualified as a resident for that year, but not ordinarily resident, because in general you are still a non-resident. How? If you satisfy the other two conditions, that out of 9 out of previous 10 years if you are NR, and 729 days out of last 7 years also you were NR. So I mean you didn't cross 729 days. So if those conditions you satisfy, but you cross the limit of last year's residency, which is supposedly 120 in this case, because your Indian sourced income is above 15 lakhs, still your uh, qualification is RNOR, and RNOR is almost like a non-resident for taxation purpose. I am saying almost, not in all cases. And your global income is not taxable. There is one exception which I will speak about later. So that means most of the persons still need not worry, and they still should be safe enough in terms of their global income not getting taxed. Additionally, even if the income is above 15 lakhs and stays above 120 days, the person will be treated as RNOR unless he crosses 182 days. So he so the 120 days condition, even if he crosses, and even if he crosses 15 lakhs amount also, the act says that he becomes RNOR, not a complete resident. So in so either ways, the worst you can go because of this condition is, earlier if you were NR, now you can become RNOR if your stay is between 120 to 182. If you cross 182, any which ways you were resident even in the earlier condition. Then what? Then who needs to take care? As I said, if it's above 182, there is no difference. Earlier also you were resident, and accordingly taxation laws applied. The question is, if you are between, your stay is between 120 and 182, and as I said, you become RNOR and not a complete resident, then what type of income is taxable for RNOR is what we need to see. So RNOR, for RNOR, as I said, it's almost like NR but not completely like NR. So for the income which accrues or arises outside India from business controlled in India or profession set up in India, so that type of income is taxable for RNOR but not taxable for NR. So those are the kind of income which can get taxed if you post this change in law, that if you your stay is between 120 to 182. Now second change related to the same non-residents was, and this one is a more you know uh, I would say dangerous rule or litigative rule, because such kind of deemed residency was never never there in our tax laws. It was brought for the first time. A bit of background of why it was brought was mentioned in the budget speech. Instances have come to notice where period of 182 days specified in respect of an Indian citizen is being misused. Individuals who are actually carrying out substantial economic activities from India manage their period of stay in India so as to remain a non resident in perpetuity and not to be required to declare their global income in India. Now, why I have also given a big bit of background speech, because that gives the intention of the intention of the government legislature to bring such kind of change. So we need to know the intention of the law as well. Now, what is concept of deemed resident? So concept of deemed resident is that if you are not liable to tax in any other country by reason of domicile or residence or any other criteria, and again here also the condition of additional condition of 15 lakh is given, so that not every person comes under this deemed residency. So, and if your Indian source income crosses 15 lakhs, then hmm, you will be treated as deemed resident, and your accordingly the other tax laws will apply. So which kind of income will be taxable, etc., etc. So meaning, if here the important criteria is 15 lakhs, okay, it's the same condition as we saw earlier. Here the important criteria is that if you are not liable to tax in any other country. Now again, this provision does not apply to foreign citizen. One more clarification was issued that this provision does not intend to tax bona fide workers, means salaried employees in countries such as UAE, Saudi, which does not apply direct tax to their resident citizens, whatever. Then, because of not liable to tax there, does those kind of genuine salaried workers working in such countries also come under deemed tax residency of India, and will they also have to pay tax here? No, it was specifically clarified via circular in February 2020 that intention is not to tax those, because as you can see in this budget speech also, that they manage their period of stay in India so as to remain a non-resident in perpetuity and manage substantial economic activities from India. So again, those are this change is specifically for such kind of persons who control business from India. They control their business outside India, and for and plus they are not liable to tax anywhere else. Uh, then such persons, Indian government wants to qualify them as a deemed resident and tax here. So this table will indicate uh, again, just for understanding the same concept via table. So if Indian citizen going abroad, not exceeding rupees 15 lakh if total income, then minimum number of days of stay in India during the relevant year to be considered as resident in India is still 182 days, same as earlier. Whether liable to pay tax in any other countries, yes. And then in case of if these are the four conditions he satisfies, then for India purpose he is a non-resident. Uh, in second case, if it's going outside India as a member, a crew member, or for employment, then if it's not exceeding 15 lakhs and the stay is less than 182 days, still non-resident. Exceeding 15 lakhs, stay is 182 days, but he is liable to pay tax in other countries. Still, for India purpose, is non-resident. Exceeding 15 lakhs, uh, and stay is not crossing 182 days, but key thing to note here is crossing 120. Then and if he is not liable to pay tax in any other country, then he becomes not ordinarily resident, not straight away resident, just like the first rule. So the key thing is, if such person is not liable to pay tax in any other country, and if his Indian sourced income is above 15 lakhs, then in that case he becomes not ordinarily resident, not straight away a resident. So now what kind of issues this throws up? Hmm? The flowchart nearly explains the same thing. So, and who needs to take care? So I've just thrown light upon certain persons who can be impacted. So in case of NRIs who are residing in US, UAE, Saudi and certain countries and have taxable Indian income of more than 15 lakhs, a question arises whether they can be treated as liable to tax. Why? Because UAE and Saudi, such countries, does not levy tax. Now, past judgment said that liable to tax doesn't necessarily mean you have to pay tax, and hence, uh, you know, even if UAE does not levy any tax, they are still liable to tax, and hence, such persons won't get covered by this latest Indian amendment of tax residency. But that is one interpretation. Now, with clear-cut definition of under Indian tax laws of what they mean by liable to tax, these past judgments may not be of use for such persons, and it can be a very litigative issue if uh, if such person's Indian income is above 15 lakhs, their stay and uh, they are not liable to tax in UAE because they don't tax such persons, then they become not ordinarily resident. And if they control such businesses from India, then their income can be taxable. Litigative again. Persons can interpret that liable of tax via earlier judgments that liable to tax doesn't necessarily mean that tax needs to be paid, and hence you know those judgments should still be valid, and there and they should be treated the same way as earlier, like a non-resident. But as I said, it's litigative. So it's litigative for such scenarios, not for everyone, because as I said, there were clear-cut clarification that if salaried guys in UAE, Saudi need not worry. Uh, for them, it's still the old rule of 182, no deemed residency, nothing like it. Only for the persons who control business outside India from India. For them, it can be an impacting thing. So certain issues, unanswered question that do the prior decisions such as Azadi Bachao hold under this revised definition. A second is, why should residency be governed by liability to tax? Instead, uh, till now it's always been reversed, that liability to tax is governed by residency. Now, by imparting the definition of a deemed resident, that if you are not liable to tax in any other country, then you become deemed residents in India, means you are doing it reverse, that residency is governed by liability of tax. Is it correct? Third is, how will new definition affect person who has valid TRC? So for instance, a person is able to bring valid tax residency certificate from UAE. Can he claim exemption? Earlier, yes, because if you prove that you are tax resident of that country, then automatically you are not tax resident of this country. But under current definition of deemed residency, because of you not liable to tax in UAE, you may be tax resident by crossing number of days. But because you are not liable to tax here, you are liable to tax here. Of course, there are scenarios earlier also when both countries say that there is a tax residency of this country, and then they go for tiebreaker test. But here, it is difficult that even after tiebreaker test you will be able to prove that you are not resident of India. So it's that part of the amendment, deemed residency, is a kind of litigative one. And we will need to wait for certain landmark judgments and case laws to see what were the intentions of such changes. Thanks. I hope this was the best clarification I could give based on whatever clarification CBDT has given till now in relation to the changes for non-resident taxation rules. Thanks. Meet you soon. Bye. Till then, take care.